Hello, everybody. Hi. How are you? Let me turn this thing off. Hey, looks like a bunch of people are here already. And congrats. Welcome. Hello. I am in the bunker. That's what this room is called. I am at a property called Goose Hill, which belongs to my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, Donald Miller, of Story Brand fame. And if you ever read the books. Oh, hey, I got to show you guys something. I think a couple of you have talked about these. I was going through and I found, so here are the main two. Well, this is one of the new ones, but so my brother-in-law, Donald Miller, wrote a book that changed my life called Blue Like Jazz. So this is a really excellent book if you're trying to figure out life. It's a good kind of coming of age tale. It's like a memoir, particularly dealing around like the Christian faith. Great book, really poetic and wonderful. Anyway, he wrote this book. He also married my sister-in-law. And so then he also teaches a marketing methodology called Story Brand. And so this is one of the books, Donald Miller and JJ Peterson. And so if you own a business, if you're trying to figure out how to communicate what you're doing, these guys are excellent. And once you get into this, you're going to start seeing kind of the thoughts and the things kind of work their way around. So one of the big things for me, I was a Story Brand certified guide, which means I taught people for years how to create marketing systems and how to grow their thing. And then that's how YouTube came about, was just kind of making marketing systems. And then I was playing around with content ideas. And then that's how YouTube came about, was just, well, I'm a Story Brand, I'm a marketing guide. I want to figure out how to do things. And it ended up being much more fun than doing the other stuff. So I'm trying to figure out, I'll show you. So I have a mic stand. Oh, speaking of which, Judd Cables, amazing cables made in Richmond, Virginia. This is in a world, like, I can't show you the studio because it's here, but actually, hold on. I can get pseudo fancy. I can show you the room I'm in, which if I do it this way, then you can see. So, okay, so you can see the two cameras. Don't look at my face. So, yeah, oh boy. I have to keep my face behind it. So, there's two mics, two wires, two cameras here. There is their Blackmagic camera, which I'm not using because I couldn't get the HDMI to work. Actually, I could, but it just wasn't quite right. So, I ended up putting a friction arm, if you guys care about these things. I ended up putting a friction arm off that stand to put my Canon EOS R. You see that friction arm down low. Anyway, but yes. So today there's been some drama today. I'll tell you a little bit about it here in a bit, but let me jump into the comments real quick. Tex is here. Hello, Tex. Hello from Montana. You see that little symbol? It's on YouTube. If you're watching it, it'll be a little different. It'll be a little Guitar Hunter badge. Tex, actually Howard, is a channel member. And so there are some other channel members running around in here, you'll see. But those are people who support the channel every month. They're also members, so they get early access to video. So if you're there, you're coming up by the next day or two, you will get to see pretty much the entire completion of the Showalter guitar build. I'm almost done. I'm working on the last video, the reveal video. And so we'll be totally done. So if you would think about it, become a channel member or a patron. I'm keeping both of those programs open because some people really love Patreon and they have other channels and other creators that they sponsor. And then other people don't want to go to another website. They just want to use YouTube. So there are options for both. And so all of that stuff helps make it to where I can make these videos much more reliably and consistently. And it's a really good thing. So, hold on. I just had I had a thought. If I raise this up, so this is a standing desk because there we go. Okay. Because I was like uncomfortably like hunched down. So anyway, Daniel is here. 11 a.m. in Seattle from Mr. Staley. Am I pronouncing your? I've wondered that for a year. Staley? Is that how you pronounce it? Should be entertaining. Jeremy always does a great job. IMHO, in my humble opinion. FG800, Breedlove C25 SSE, and a D18 sinker for my 3. That's a monster. That's a good trio. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, we'll get into talking about this. And this video does come about because of S Lois, a great guitar player, great channel. You're in the Netherlands, right? He said he's going to be watching. So we've got some stuff coming later on here soon. But yeah, this video, he created a video saying, can Jeremy guess my third guitar? And I'm going to try and guess it. And now, I did accidentally see a bit of it, so I have a hunch, but my hunch was right, so I will guess this in real time. So, hello from Morocco. Badura is here. Man, so good. Gary says, know a good shop in the UK for Martin guitars. I don't. I don't believe Anderton's. I mean, it's the name of guitar shop. Anderton's. That one on Bleecker, whatever. Yeah, Jonathan Welsh got the pick holder yesterday. He won the Picchini, the thing I don't like saying, that word I don't like saying, but glad you got it. So, question, do you offer stickers with your Guitar Hunter logo? I do. If you buy a t-shirt or hat or coffee or any of that stuff, we always include stickers. I don't sell the stickers separately. I might. That might be a good idea. Oklahoma is here. Dublin, Ireland is here. Love all the videos, dude. Thank you. That's very kind. I work really hard on them, and I'm very, very proud of them. And yeah, it's amazing to me that 5 years in, like for 2 years, this has been my full-time job, just making videos, trying to live an interesting guitar life and helping people find life and helping people find the right guitars for them. So that'll be super exciting. That's kind of what we're talking about today, because I want to share kind of two thoughts of how I put collections of guitars together. Also, if you have guitars you want me to rate or review or react to in front of people here, you can email them to info@jeremysheppard.com. I didn't put that in the description. So it's just info@jeremysheppard, and Sheppard is spelled, you can see it down below. All one word. That reminds me, I saw my favorite meme of the last long time. I can't quite read it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, DM me later and I'll send it to you. I don't feel like I should read it on the internet. Hey, S Lois is here. So, hey, buddy. SL, our guitar, Weiss. SL Weiss? Is that your name? No. SL. Anyway, I'm sorry. Reporting. Okay. And Gary, yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. Anybody in the UK, jump in there and answer Gary. But your headline for this video, suggesting showing how my best 3 guitar collection, but that's a lot of content. Your headline for this video, suggest showing my best 3 guitar collection, but that's a lot of content. Sorry, I don't understand that. I did a thing. So while we're in Nashville, so I'm going to be in Nashville kind of indefinitely, probably a month or two. We are in Nashville. We're staying with family. Some exciting stuff is going on, and some hard family stuff is going on as well. But one of the things we're getting to do that is exciting is we're doing lens therapy. I don't know if y'all are familiar with this. It feels right on the edge of kind of quackery, but there's some peer-reviewed research behind it that is pretty cool and helpful. So anyway, lens therapy, it measures your brain waves and it measures the electric signals in certain parts of your brain, and it can help reroute, not retrain. That's a different kind of neuroscience, but this can help alleviate places where your brain is not conducting the proper amount of electricity and then correct those things. And it feels like quackery, but there are things that they're kind of picking up on that they couldn't know without knowing me or my story. So anyway, one of the things, the thing that my brain struggles with most is verbal comprehension. Like if I read something out loud and I say it. And so that's where reading these comments is kind of embarrassing sometimes, because it's really, really hard for me to understand a question. And I find myself answering a question. I find myself reading a question, not understanding what it was, and then answering a question that wasn't the question, but just trying to figure it out. So anyway, I'm sorry if I end up, if I misread questions and stuff. So Jose is here. Jose, thank you for the great content. Very enjoyable. Thank you. I've worked so hard. Yes, guys, I am so sorry. There's a lot of personal family stuff going on behind the scenes. And then that combined with details, which I'm terrible at details. So we ended up the short we ordered the shirts like 3 weeks ago. Then they got back ordered. So they were already late and then they got back ordered. And so all of the Guitars Make Us Better shirts came in today. Now they are still for sale. We bought more than we totally sold just to kind of get ahead of the curve. But I do think they're an incredibly cool thing. They're a great gift for guitar players throughout the fall and in the holidays. So anyway, we'll talk about it more. But so it's not dyslexia, but basically the part of my brain, I forget where it is. I think it's right here. There's like 21 zones on top of your head. And I looked into it enough to know that it's not, feels like quackery, but it's not. There's some legitimate science to it. But the thing is, the thing that my brain doesn't do is, and it's always been embarrassing. Like if someone's like, ha ha ha, this is the funniest meme I've ever seen, Jeremy, you should read it. And we're at a party and there's a bunch of noise and a bunch of people and they show me their phone. There's not a chance that I will be able to read it quickly. Like I can't read one sentence and understand it while people are laughing and waiting for my reaction. It's been that way for a long time. But anyway, yeah, Jake, I meant to bring it down here, but I didn't. It's up at the house. So we ended up at the last second. There's an event happening in the place where I've been working and I did the live show last week. And so, because they're doing a workshop up there, I'm down here in the bunker. And so this is actually, it's kind of cool. This is like completely underground. It's in the back of the basement. But yeah. So Gary says, nothing to be embarrassed about, Jeremy. Everyone has something. Yes. Yeah. it's, what you find is your strengths go into overdrive to make up for your deficits. And so that's what I found is my auditory, and that's what they could even see, is that my auditory processing is hyperactive. Like I'm really working all the time to listen to people and hear people and then really understand it so that I don't miss anything. Because usually what happens is I read a thing, I don't understand it, and then people talk about it out loud. And then I will listen to them and I will figure out by context what the thing is. So anyway, Tex says, here we go. Martin Music Villa, Martin Custom Shop, 0028E with inlay or Showalter Custom 00. Oh, I got it. You're giving me your 3. Got it. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Yes. Tex says I can't see to read things. Yeah. So Gary says I have autism and I'm stronger than some in lots of ways. Oh man. Yeah. I always think it's really important. Like, and part of my YouTube channel is I don't talk about my wife and you're not ever going to see my wife. But one of the things about her that I will share or just conceptually about marriage is, it's really problematic when you marry someone that's weaknesses are the same as yours, but it's an incredible benefit when their strengths cover your weaknesses and your weaknesses cover their strengths. And you become one is kind of the traditional and the Christian perspective on it. So anyway, with all of that said, I have a video to show you guys and I hope that this will work well. We're going to see how it goes. So I'm going to mute my mic and then I'm going to play this video and then I'm going to come back. I will look at the comments to see if it doesn't work, but it should work. I believe it will work. So here we go.
I have asked myself the same question. Hey Jeremy, this is S Lois and what a fantastic question you have. I have asked myself the same question. What 3 guitars would make your perfect arsenal to do everything with? I am keeping this challenge acoustic because adding electric guitars to this mix might open a whole new can of worms and that might be fun for another video. The first guitar in this mix for me is my 1980 Martin D18, a dreadnought, a mahogany, a do-it-all, a workhorse.
I will just say that sounds incredible.
It's just a great all-round guitar to use in the studio, on stage. It does singer-songwriter stuff. It does full-on bluegrass stuff. It does solo. It does rhythm. It does everything. It's a nice guitar to start with. But if you want to zoom in a little more on the solo stuff, a guitar that really complements my Martin D18 is this German-built 1950s archtop. It's more mid-rangey, it's a more shallow sound, and it does cut through a lot of mixes really nicely.
Can you all hear this? That's a great, like very warm, kind of thumpy tone. So hang on.
That's the workhorse.
Okay. So I saw it a bit. Okay. So I saw it just a bit, but okay. So if you're setting up, and then this will kind of set up how I'll do the rest of these kind of thoughts and review things. So number one, what I think about when I think about guitars, especially if you're going to have one guitar, you need to have home bass. You need to have a guitar you can play with the lights off. You need to have a guitar that will sound good in every situation. Pretty much always that's a D18 or a D or a J45. Like those are the two that are just excellent ride or die guitars that you will have all the time. And so those are really kind of home base. If you're in the guitar hunter world, the phrase I use for that, and I'll pull up the title real quick. I think that when you're looking at guitars, I think you need a couple rolls. So number one, for me, I call it the workhorse, and that's the same phrase he used. He hasn't gone through my course. Now, a lot of this will have some overlap. If you have gone through the Guitar Hunter course, I'm going to break off a little piece for you today. And so one of the guitars that you need to have is a Husson Dalton TDM. And I can't say it yet. Something really bad happened to this guitar today back in Virginia. So anyway, I'll tell you more about that later. But I think that the D18 is a perfect workhorse. Now, the other thing that's really interesting and cool about his is it's like a 1980. Like no one is fighting to buy a 1980 D18. But it sounds excellent. And I also love, and I've seen this because he's done it in the Rate My Guitar videos before, is the pickup or the pick guard is swapped. So it looks like it's from the 50s. Like it's old and cool. I mean, that's also what's cool is, I mean, all of us that are born in the 80s are coming up on a pretty high number as far as age goes. So this guitar is what, 22 or 42 years old. Ooh. I'm 35, so in 7, yeah, holy moly. But yeah, so when you get to a guitar that's, you know, made in 1980, that's like my made in Japan, my Pink Paisley Fender Tele. That one's made in 1985. And it just looks like it's a reissue, so it looks old, and then you add the age on top of it, and then you add play wear and all that stuff. So anyway, this J18 is awesome. So I would say that's home base. The second guitar that you would really need to have, I would say there's a couple things. So when I'm looking at it, I'm kind of thinking like I'm trying to cast a movie. It's like I'm trying to make Avengers. I'm trying to think of all these different roles in which, and let me scoot over here. There are all these different roles in which you would need. So you would need Old Faithful, the workhorse, the groundbreaker, the blast from the past, the wild card, the guilty pleasure, and the freeloader. Now, this is not a complete list. There are plenty more that could be out there, but I think number one, you have to have this one right here in the middle, which is the workhorse. This is a guitar, like I said, like dead reliable. You can play it in the dark. It can go anywhere you need to go. You can play it at a campfire. You can play it in a bar. You can play it at church. You can play it at someone's wedding, and you will sit around playing on your back porch. I mean, this is like home base. Now, the next thing you need, I think, is you need Old Faithful. Like Old Faithful or the Blast from the Past. These two over on the side here. It's always whatever part of my brain that does that. That's hard to mirror and track. So anyway, Old Faithful. Let me pull up the card for Old Faithful. Old Faithful is marked by, an example would be like my old Martin D41. It would be old Guilds like this one. It would be Fender American Vintage reissues. It'd be 70s Pancake Les Pauls. This could be something old, something cool. And that's the old school and cool. And they don't have to be expensive. I have a 1970 Martin D or a Guild D40 that is freaking exceptional and is not that expensive of a guitar, and it's like a D18. And so anyway, so usually your home base can be old, doesn't have to be old. It just has to be dead reliable. But then the other one you need is something that's just cool and different and old. And so I think when he pulls out the second, that German-made archtop, I think it's definitely great. So with that said, what would I speculate? So if you have home base, you have something funky and old, you have a dreadnought that's mahogany, and then you have an archtop that's what, probably maple or birch on the back and side, spruce top, small sound hole. So you've got bright bluegrassy guitar, Americana guitar, and then the second one is like a jazzy, fingerstyle-y, bluesy thing. I would go small body, maybe different tone woods, maybe different scale length, something that would give you more texture. Like it's not as boxy as the arch top, but it's not as punchy and bluegrassy as the D18. So I would find something small, something kind of like wonderful. And so let's see what he gets for his third.
Guitar and a little bit more zoomed in solo niche guitar.
I knew
now
it.
The third guitar in my little group should be, I think, something different, but also fit the group nicely. And I was thinking not a dreadnought, not mahogany, not an archtop, not a vintage, but also in its own right a all-round guitar that does well in studio and on stage, but also a guitar that I can jump on the couch with and just noodle around with. And I went with a recent Gibson LOO Rosewood Studio.
So much sustain.
So those are my 3 guitars in this little challenge, and I hope you like them. I am looking forward to hearing about your guitars, and see you soon.
Man, that is so good. That's an excellent. I assumed an LOO would have been mahogany, but okay. So he ended up having a more modern Gibson LOO that's rosewood. Now that is an excellent guitar for a lot of reasons. And I'm assuming his is X-braced, but so the big thing with this that I'm seeing is just so good is you have this big boomy dreadnought guitar, then you have this very kind of thoughtful, vintagey, old sounding, boxy sounding arch top, and then on the other side you have a guitar that kind of lives between those two extremes, still bright, but has some warmth, and it's also there's something really fun about LOOs that make you play harder, and that's actually one of the things that he said in an email back and forth when he sent me that video is that he likes the LOO because it forces him to be more jangly and to play harder, and so that's really good. So yeah, man. So hang on, there was a question I want to answer, Gary. Yes. I can't, I sold it. The guy didn't like it. It returned to me. And when it came back, the headstock is completely broken off. So the owner doesn't have that. I don't think he watches my YouTube videos, but I'm going to call him right after this. So we can talk about that here in a second, but sucks. So, we're going to have to figure out what to do with that. Okay. So the video sounded good. There was a question here that I wanted to, someone said whiskey. Someone asked why not hang on. Okay, here it is. Riffs Aplenty. What a name. Riffs Aplenty says, why not a D28 workhorse? D28s are they are the highest selling guitar of all time. And so I don't know if that's true. That was one of the questions on did you guys see that? The acoustic shop, the game show that we played, that was one of the questions. I thought it was the D18 because I figured D18s are more affordable. They're the working man's guitar, so you probably sell more working man's guitars. But anyway, so the D28 is absolutely home base for a lot of people. For me, I think you filter your recommendations through your experiences and your own preferences. So for me, I prefer 28s are too loud for me and they are too bassy. And so for me, they end up filling a room and I don't have a loud voice. And so I can't sing loud enough. And so for me, a D18 is it's everything I like about an 18 or 28, but it's just dialed back to be a little more livable, a little more manageable, and just plays a little better. I'm also not a lead guitar player. So if I was a lead player and a loud singer, D28 all freaking day. But for me, overall, the guitars that I really just enjoy playing the most are mahogany back and sides or cherry back and sides. Or yeah, I'm into some weird stuff these days. But I think when I do these coaching calls, the thing I always find myself recommending is that somebody get a good, reliable mahogany dread. Now, I won't push that hard. If they feel strongly, if they're heroes, play rosewood, but I think there are amazing deals. Guitars are much more affordable if you get mahogany. Not much, plenty more affordable. I can't talk. So, Bo says, "Hey, Jeremy, hope you're doing great. I'm doing pretty good. We're in a hard stretch. We got some family stuff going on. That's why we're in Nashville. But the Lord is faithful. Life has been good. So anyway, 1963 Gibson J50. Love those. I'm working on a 61. It's back in Virginia." Russell says, "My Swedish 11 has a spruce top and maple back and sides. Late 1960s. That's awesome." Mr. Raymond Alexander, Tube himself. Hey, buddy. Glad you're here. Yeah. So, okay. All right. Let me, I'm going to go over here to my email and, oh boy, didn't think about this. Okay. I'm going to open emails and then we'll come over. Okay. So, okay, I can remove this now, this video. Done with that. And I can share my screen. Okay. There we go. So, all right. So Matt Beckner has a 1964 Guild D40. He has a 2022 E10D, and he has a 2000 in the year 2000 Taylor 310. So 3 dreads. Okay, that's interesting. All right, let's get into it. Okay. Ooh. Oh my. What's happening? Here we go. This is what I want to do. Be chill. Be cool. Too much. Too much. What is happening? Okay. Shoot. Okay. Whew. Okay. All right. I'm not touching it anymore. Okay. Holy moly. Okay. My first vintage guitar was a 1964 Guild D40, and it looked like that, but way worse. This one looks freaking excellent. This one looks great. Tons of play wear. I love that pick guard, that really dark pick guard. I love the smaller bridge. I don't know. The bridges seem to get bigger in the 70s. Or in the late 60s. I love this giant Regal headstock. I like the abalone or the pearl headstock inlay. I like that you also have, I don't forget what those tuners are called, but they're like the Grover, like Tic Tac tuners. Those are excellent. I can see a pickup, it looks like, in your Guild. And you've got some saddle. So I'm assuming your action is better than mine. Because mine had like the tiniest, it was like 1/8 of an inch was the tallest my saddle could be. And that was as low as that boy could go. So a pretty high action. So that is an excellent guitar. So that is the something old, something cool. That is the Old Faithful. And then I would think, I mean, it looks like your workhorse is this Taylor, and man, a 310 from 2000. That's a great guitar. Ooh, the tuners have been upgraded. So the tuners look like the Goto 710s maybe. And that's a great, isn't it? Interesting tuners. They're the right vibe. They're kind of a modern, cool kind of vibe to the tuners. The M80 or the M1, I can't tell if that's a passive or an active one. Does anybody know? I don't know those pickups well enough. I just know they're one or the other, either an M80 or an M1, active or passive. But sound hole pickup, I don't love sound hole pickups for 2 reasons. I don't like what they do to the acoustic tone of the guitar. And then the other one is not all strings are as magnetic as those pickups need them to be. So it limits the strings that you can have, or it makes your guitar sound real weird. If you play, especially if you play aluminum bronze strings, or if you play anything that has a higher aluminum mix in the alloy, it'll just make for really thin, kind of brittle sounding pickups. But Foster bronze works well. 80/20 works okay. Aluminum bronze really isn't happy. And then I think nickel, if you'd use like the Diodario nickel bronze, those would probably work pretty well. So excellent guitar. And then in the middle, this is a great kind of central guitar. So this is a new E10D, and so the E10 is going to be Sitka spruce. It's not the torrefied one. So this is effectively like very similar to an 18 style guitar. I like the black guard. It's tortoise, but it's got some movement and stuff to it. Or maybe that's just reflections in the pick guard. I like the pearl headstock. I like the old style tuners. These will also have a volute on the back, which it's better for structural, and I love volutes, but it's a little different than typically what you'd find on an 18 style guitar. But that's a really beautiful, really clean guitar. I have an E10D that I freaking love. I'm actually going to sell it here soon. I've got 2 Eastmans that I'm going to sell, and they're both exceptional guitars. I'm really impressed with Eastman. It took me too long to know enough about them to speak intelligently, but I'm really excited about them. And so this collection, now I will say, all 3 are dreadnoughts, all 3 are Sitka spruce tops, all 3 are mahogany back and sides, right? Or is the Taylor? I doubt the Taylor's rosewood. I bet it's mahogany. So you have 3 dreads, 3 of the same top woods, 3 of the same backwoods. Scale length 25 5/8 on the D40, so it's a longer scale length, a little more robust feeling. 25.4 for the I think for the Eastman, and then a 25.5 for the Taylor, right? Oh boy, I'm treading into deep water here. But I think these guitars are surprisingly similar. Raymond just became a member. Thank you, buddy. Mr. Raymond, Mr. Chubasaurus himself. How's the jam, dude? PB and the jam. Okay. Yeah, nickel sounds good with sound hole pickups. It does. And because they're effectively very similar to electric guitar strings. Okay. Overall, this collection is really great. I really get like the Americana kind of classic acoustic tones you would get out of these. I like that the Taylor has upgraded tuners. It's kind of a cool, like a more modern guitar with more modern tuners. I like the Eastman that shows that you're not brand loyal. You're not stuck to American-made guitars because the other 2 are made in America. This one's made in China. I really like all of this. I would say my only hang up on this is they're all the same materials. They're the same size. They're braced the same. I mean, Taylor, Gibson, or Taylor, Guild, Eastman, all effectively pretty similar. There's a lot of redundancy here, Matt. So I would say spice it up. I would say get something that's the groundbreaker. That's another roll. I can show you that here in a second. That's one that is like outside of the norm. So you have like either the wild card or the groundbreaker. Wild card is just a weird, unpredictable choice. The groundbreaker is a guitar or an instrument that every time you play it, it forces you to learn new things. I think with these, there's a theme of some safety here that I would kind of push against and encourage you to get out there. Try something smaller or something bigger. Try something with rosewood back and sides. Try something with more strings. Try something with less strings. I don't know no, basses are dumb. I wouldn't try less strings. Don't tell anybody. Or ukulele. Ukuleles are dumb. We can agree. Ukuleles are dumb, right? I have an E60M I'll give you a screaming deal on. It's a great guitar. I think 0028 or 0018 will still be a better guitar, but is it $2,000 or is it like $1,000 or $1,500 better? Okay, tenors aren't dumb. Tenors are cool. Get the Martin. I can make a case for that. All right. So I'm going to come over here and cruise through another email, and let me find. Uh-oh. I have a bunch of emails that I don't see. Oh, hey, William is here. Yes, William. So this is Mr. William Joseph here. So let me share my screen again. And if you want, you can send me rate me. If you want, you can send me your you can send me stuff to info@jeremysheppard.com. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hey, let me read what you said. So William says 2022 Purple Fender Telecaster Deluxe. We added Slash Seymour Duncan pickups, purple rhinestones to the knobs and switch chip, and Slash artwork on the neck plate for all those sweet Slash Telecaster songs that he plays. This was all approved by Slash. Artwork done by Dave Patillo. Dude, this is freaking cool. Not a Slash guy. Oh, man. This is really cool. At first, I thought this was paper towel. It's like, you have the biggest paper towels I've ever seen. But it's like a bedspread or something. I like the stop tail. That's cool. Now, wait. Okay, this is Fender. It's not made by Patillo. But, oh, man, that's cool. Asbury Park, New Jersey / That's cool. Is it anodized or painted? Freaking cool. I like this. Ooh, I like the bullet. I like, yeah, you got a lot of wraps, bro. A lot of wraps. And I don't love these. Are these, what are they called? Was it Graph Tech? Probably are. Probably, I mean, but man, that's a really, really cool guitar. Those are awesome. I like the black screws too. That's a good detail to catch. Black screws and the black screws in the pickguard here. It might be too much. I mean, you could, but it might be too much to change these to black. But I wonder how this thing sounds. Yeah, how's it sound? That's a cool guitar. Completely not my style. Like I think I'm not a huge Slash guy. But I like this. So awesome. All right. Oh, don't you look at my email. Okay, so now, okay, yeah, so it's Graph Tech. It looks like a Kingfish. That's kind of what I thought. So with that one, man, that's a great guitar. I mean, it's very cool. I mean, the thing is, I can't think of seeing Slash play a Telecaster. It reminds me of Chris Shiflett for sure from Foo Fighters. But dude, that's a cool guitar and it totally fits your vibe. Like, cause you got the Batman. If you guys haven't seen it, go check out William on Instagram. William has, this unbelievable, like it's a Telecaster. And it is, has, what's the thing called? The Rambler. What's the Dark Knight Batmobile? But it's awesome. So anyway, that's a very cool guitar. I would say, okay, anodized, the anodized backplate. That's awesome because then it wouldn't scratch. That'd be my only concern would be that it would scratch up. But that's really, really cool. Now knowing you, man, I think it's super cool. And it's something that somebody would see on the wall and just want to know more about and want to play. I want to hear it. I want to hear what a Tele sounds like with like super beefy, Slash pickups. I also love having the switch up top. I also love the purple switch tip. I like, yeah, to me, it's like, that's the best. Like, what if Fender built a Les Paul? I don't need a set neck, but I love 2 volumes, 2 tones, and the switch up top because it just gives you the right amount of like control and playability and functionality. So, okay, yeah, it's called the Tumbler. Okay, good. Thank you. I'm gonna give that one like. Did I rate the other one? I didn't give a number. I'm gonna say it's an 8.4. Could have been higher. I just don't like Slash that much, but I like you a lot, William. So, yeah. Okay. I now have to open my, I have to go into Instagram, go to my messages, and then I don't know what, my brain is broken today, boys and girls. Okay. Share my screen. Okay, you can also send them to me on Instagram and I can look at them in here. So, okay. Let me look in here before I actually read what it is. Ooh, wait, who's this? This is John. Oh, John. We talked about these the other day. He just showed me these. Okay, I'll see what I can remember about these. Okay, this is a D41. I think this one is just a standard D41, but it's exceptional. Great yellow, great rosette, big. Not the big like 45 style, but these are the 41 style hexagons. I actually like them more. The 45, I can't pay double the price to have just a little bigger hex. I want a D41. I had one, but I want one that sounds good. So I need to nope, don't go to Groon. I will leave with less money and more guitar. And I have a lot of guitars. Sorry, Welcome to my internal monologue. D41, exceptional. Big Sitka spruce top, rosewood back and sides, big dreadnought. Then the other one, this is one that he spec'd out from the custom shop. John sent, so this one is a red spruce top. Hang on, might be Sitka. It's very, very similar to the JM28, or whatever the limited run is. So it's similar spec to that, except it's an 1 3/4 nut width. I think that this is a Sitka spruce top. It's an OM42, basically. 1 3/4 nut width, has the bound headstock, has the pearl inlay on the headstock, ebony bridge, ebony fingerboard, has Madagascar rosewood back and sides. Might be East Indian, but I think it's Madagascar. Has an LR Baggs Anthem. This is his main guitar for playing at church. He plays at church in North Carolina, South Carolina. I think North Carolina. But really cool guitar. I like how it's kind of middle colored yellow there. Now the other one is, if I were to rob John's house, I would take this third one. I would take it's an OM42. It's an OM42 12 fret, or an OM42S. And so slot headstock, has the Waverleys, has the snowflake inlays, has Italian spruce, or it has no aging toner on it. So it's super bright white on the top. Ebony bridge, ebony fingerboard. I think this one is rosewood back and sides. I can double check here in a second. This is a powerful trio. Now, still very similar top and back materials, different sizes. All three are different sizes, all Martins. So there's this kind of thread of, if you're like me, I love Martin guitars. And so I totally get it. But with this one, this is a good trio. There's a high level of, one man's consistency is another man's redundancy, maybe. There's a lot of shared strengths. Where are the weaknesses? What are the weaknesses in this? Shorter scale length. The triple O is a shorter scale. They're still very Americana, very fingerstyle country bluegrass. You would be hard pressed to play the blues on this. I don't know if you're a blues player. You'd be hard pressed to press into other styles, but I don't know. These do a lot for me. I would love to have this trio. So let me look through again. Okay. D41 is a reimagined Sitka and East Indian rosewood. Got that one right. This one is, okay. This one, the OM custom in the middle, is a custom shop with premium Engelmann and then wild grain East Indian rosewood, sinker mahogany neck and blocks. And then, it's not a triple O. It's a 4/0. That's right. It's a quad custom shop with red spruce top and sinker mahogany back and sides. Okay, so there is rosewood, mahogany, sinker mahogany, and then Sitka, Engelmann, and then Adirondack. Wow. Okay, so all three, the two of the three have the same back materials, but man, this is a really, really cool. So he says, I have loud projection, classic dread, OM for something forward, the sinker 12 for perfect finger style or finger picking, but the quad size is a perfect blend of the two. Dude, you could freaking, yeah. He says to rate his concert blanket. What is this? Kenny Chesney. John Mayer. Oh, that's awesome. Dude, this is a really, really, I think the thing is, you look at it, you're like, oh, it's 3 Martins. But when you have to dig in and do what we just did and really kind of realize, oh man, there is a lot going on here. I think you have super iconic dread, bluegrassy country tones. You have kind of modern, great playability in a John Mayer style guitar. And then you have a very traditional not quite Norman Blakey, because he played a dread and this is a quado, but it could sound like a dread. If you really push it, you could put some heavier strings on it. That's the guitar that I want. So dude, this one is unbelievable. This one is 9.2 territory for me. 9.3. I'm gonna stick with a 9.2, but this is excellent. I don't know what I would do. Maybe an amber tone burst on the 41, and then you could conquer the freaking universe with the 3 of these guitars, both aesthetically, auditorily. That's awesome. Okay, there are some more in here. Where'd they go? How do I find my unread messages? Let's see. Are there any requests? This is where the weird stuff gets. Oh boy. Long email. Okay. This is Austin Hall. So 19 or a Yamaha 700 SG and an electric that my great grandpa built. He's in the market for a new acoustic as he entered in the immediate stage of playing. Blah blah blah. I've gone back and forth with an Acoustasonic, not a sleeper. I love them. And you really love the Guild M20. Great guitars. Looked at some Eastmans as well. Obviously less money. Blah blah blah. Okay. To accept these messages, general. Ooh, these are cool. I think you could conquer the world with these two. I mean, like, you could play any show you need to play. You got a Tele style guitar. It's semi-hollow. It's cool. You're going to have people asking you what it is. The Yamaha is a cool and unusual choice as long as it doesn't play very hard. Cool. 7.2 on these. Let me see what else is in here. So some of these are just going to be questions. Oh. Okay. Sorry. You're kind of seeing my business a bit. Thanks, bud. Thanks, bro. Okay. Well, any other to review? Let me, I'll come back over here to the comments and see what's happening. Yeah, that Martin trio is good. That's a good trio. Flap says 95 Gibson J200, 66 Martin D35, and a 2003 Bourgeois OM. That's a great trio. Big, giant 90s Oasis cover band. And then you got Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young covered with a D35. Because that's that woofy thing from 66. It's Brazilian. And it'll have like a really fun, powerful, warm, folky tone. I'm fired up. I need to get that D35 fixed. A neck reset. I just talked to Nathan Wright today. He's going to handle that. I just have to figure out how to get it down from Virginia down here. And then the 2003 Bourgeois OM. Hey, exciting stuff with Bourgeois. I think I'm going to get one or two of the Touchstones, and I'm going to do a review on those, talk about those guitars. And then I'll be getting together with them and going up to Maine at some point here soon to go check out some stuff. Ryan says, I play my D42 Modern Deluxe and my D41. Next guitar we'll get will be D45. Wow, that's very redundant. I don't mean to pick on you about that, but that's a really, I don't know. I don't know if you need all three. Do you need all three? I mean, why not? It would be awesome if you can afford them, but they're very similar. D42 Modern Deluxe. So Snowflakes, aging toner. I think they all have aging toner basically at this point. So Bill says I only have one guitar, and it's a Martin HD28. I'm a professional guitar in Nashville, and that guitar is all I need. If I go back out on the road, I'll get another Martin as a backup. Yep. Dude, an HD28 will do everything you need to do. And, I mean, you're probably, as a hired gun, I mean, you can cover so much ground with a 28. And that's the reality is, listen, and I took some flack even for the title of this video, calling it, what's your best three guitars? And people saying, I only own two guitars, and they're feeling bad. And so one of the things I said to them is the best guitar for you is the one you already have. I think a lot of us really think that I will matter. I'll be a good player. I'll be worth it when I have that next guitar, when I have a professional guitar, but the reality is, I mean, don't forget why you're in it. You're in it because playing guitar is fun. And you can have so much fun playing really affordable guitars. They're incredible. Yeah. It's like in cars. Driving a slow car fast, super fun. Because when you drive a fast car, it's terrifying. You end up driving fast cars slow. So anyway, hang on to that. Yeah, Staley. That's all he'd want too. Oh, Bobby Joe O'Neill says 1965 Martin D18, freaking winner. An EJ Henderson 000. She is incredible. EJ Henderson, oh my gosh, she's so talented. She's so funny and she's clever and she's an incredible builder. That's a great guitar. And then a 72 Gibson Hummingbird. That's a good choice. It's a square shoulder. It's a more unusual choice. it's not as expensive as the other two, and so you could take that one out a lot more. Very, very cool. And then you also have a Caleb Smith D18. Holy moly, Bobby. I want to come hang out. That's a really good trio, quartet. The D18 from 65 is wonderful. I love 60s. I've had some 50s D18s. I had a 62 D18. They're excellent. They're just really great, sweet, powerful guitars. And they're not blingy. They're not super loud. And both in design and practically super loud. So the E.J. Henderson is such a beautiful choice if you know what is cool. I mean, that's a guitar that, people will know that you know what is cool. And it also is the future of guitar is women. Like 16 million people started playing guitar in 2020. And of those, I think over 50% or over 70% were women. And so I think for us, I mean, that's why I've been so excited to see Joyce come into Showalter Guitars. And I just think that powerful, badass women is what the world needs, especially in the guitar world. And so EJ is 100% that. So that's super exciting. So this collection is great. I would say, I mean, this is like, the EJ is so monstrously cool. It's like a 9.1. That's an exceptional trio. So Gary says, I can't afford a USA guitar at the moment, and the cost of living crisis in the UK. No one is stocking them here, and there is no markup on them. Yeah, that's hard. But thankfully, we live in a place in which there are excellent guitars at every price point. Unlike, for our grandparents, I mean, there were very bad guitars that were made in the U.S., and then there were very expensive guitars that were also made in the U.S. Like when you think about K's, Harmonies, all the Sears and Roebuck guitars, and then there's such a chasm to get into a good guitar. Hello from Pittsburgh. Here's my main three. Neil Walk. So Neil says 1998 Fender American Standard Strat with an ash body, winner. I'm assuming that's an SSS. And then a 2006 Larrivee OM3 with a K&K Pure Western Mini, and a 2010 Martin D16 GT. Hamana. Okay. A Strat can do pretty much everything you need except bridge tones. I would say, as much as I don't like the look of an HSS, I think a Strat's weakest point is its bridge pickup. And but for me, a Strat neck pickup is basically the perfect tone, or the third position. Basically the perfect kind of tone. The Larrivee OM3R is an exceptional guitar. Satin finish, OM with rosewood back and sides, is a Sitka spruce top. Just excellent guitars. They play great. They come in great hard cases, and they're still pretty affordable. I think you can get these around $1,000, $1,200. There was a hot streak for me when everybody else was sleeping on them in the mid 2000 teens, like 15, 16. I was buying every Larrivee I could find, and I was getting DO3s, LO2s, LO3s. I was getting them for $400, $600. And since then, I've been able to get them way up. And so, I don't think it's letting you drop files in here. That's like a local, like that's on your hard drive. You can email them, or you can DM me on Instagram and then tell me when you do, and I'll go check again. But Ken Carver says, hang on, I know a Ken Carver. Are you the Ken Carver I know? 2013 Martin D28 winner. 2016 Gibson J35, great choice. And a 76 J45, so that's a square-shouldered orange label made in Nashville, right? That's a Norland company era. Probably doesn't sound great. Probably looks super cool. That's a cool guitar. So yeah, you got like two of the very iconic kind of Martin and Gibson Americana kind of tones. Yeah. So one thing I haven't explained yet is kind of and I couldn't find the graphic for it. So oh boy, I don't have a note. I don't have a sheet of paper. Let me see if I can find a dry erase marker. I can. They're right here. Okay, I can draw on this. Okay. So. Do either of these work? Okay. Dead. Okay, these are all dead. Hang on. Come on, don't do me wrong. Okay. Okay, so you don't even have to imagine. I'm just going to show you. So here is how I arrange guitars. So on the top, I imagine, an X and Y. And so on one side, I have all of the dark tones. So I imagine guitars that are very dark on one side, all the way up to very bright. Now on the other side, I'm going to hide your comment here, Ken. On the other side, I do diverse on the bottom. And then as I go up, I go into specific. So as I envision guitars in this, I try and kind of consider those two variables and then put them against each other. And so when I say dark guitars, think mahogany dreadnoughts. Think a D15. That's the darkest guitar that most of us know about. Or ovations are sometimes really dark, really thumpy. They just don't have much treble. There's a lot of bass and a lot of mids. All the way on the other end, you get think about on the brightest of bright, you're going to have the Taylor, think of a Taylor 714, a Taylor 814, just Taylor in general. They're very bright guitars. Also think Ferk, my Ferk Yellow Deluxe is absolutely over here. Then on the other continuum, I'm going to go between my really specific tones and my really diverse. Now, when I say diverse, I mean, it can kind of sound like anything. You can play it differently. You could a D18, you can roll your arm back and play against the bridge and get really bright, punchy, twangy, country tones. But you can also play it like a D35, or you can play it like a folky guitar and move up over the sound hole, and you're going to get a much more mellow, much more subtle sounding guitar. Now, with that, you can do all of that with any guitar, but some guitars, they just aren't able to ever get out of their genre. So one of the guitars for me that I thought was amazing, that kind of stuck me in I couldn't make it sound anything other than what it was, but it sounded freaking exceptional, is the Waterloo WLS. It is incredibly specific. It only really sounds like itself ever. Fat, warm, full, punchy, jangly. It will never sound like a bluegrass guitar. It will never sound like a 12-string. Even if you play a light pick, you're not going to ever get this thing to sound other than what it is meant to be, made to be. And so for me, this is the continuum. So when I started thinking about guitars, I'm like, oh, well, I've got a guitar that's super dark and very diverse. I'm like, okay, like a D15. Okay, that's a really good guitar, and that's a good place. Now, home bass, you always want to aim. Sorry, I smashed my finger. You can see my Band-Aid there, or my little bobo there. But so right around in the middle, getting a guitar that is it kind of lives in between diverse. I mean, if you have to really defer to one, I will defer to the bottom, to the diverse. So I have a guitar that's able to do more than just be stuck in one specific rut. That's why I think a maple jumbo is so cool, but it sounds like a maple jumbo. It can't ever get that mid hump thing out to a place where you will never be able to put that into a mix in a live situation or in a recording and make it sound like a small little cute parlor sized single 018. It's just never going to do that because maple, because of the size, because of the scale length, because of all of those things. So anyway, that is conceptually when someone tells me what guitars they have, I'm starting to kind of visualize okay, you got a Taylor. So it's super bright, super diverse, super bright, super specific. And then you're like, oh, well, I'm thinking about a Guild M20. I'm like, oh, that's darker and more specific. Oh, that's perfect. So I usually kind of play the opposites. So for me, it's you need to have a Telecaster and a Les Paul. Those are kind of the two opposite tones. Or you could have a Strat and an SG. You could have, in the electric world. In the acoustic world, I think finding your home bass guitar, finding your workhorse is going to be a D18, a J45, a D28, a Larrivee, like a Bluegrass Jubilee, a Guild D40. There are lots of guitars that can be an Eastman E10, an Eastman E20 SS. Whew. I texted John Chapman about one. It's like, how much is that guitar? Asking for a friend. I would love to own one of his. And one of, sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm reading people's comments. Okay. So, does that make sense? Does anyone have questions, comments, or slanderous remarks on this? On the, I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna erase it. Oh, it's not coming off. I will figure that out later. But here's some peppermint essential oil. Don't mind if I do, Donald. Focus. Doesn't matter. Smells like a candy cane. Also, if you're ever nauseous, friggin' put your sniffer on some peppermint oil and nausea will go away very quickly. Okay, well, holy cow, it's been an hour already. Pat says, loving your broadcast. What's your opinion on the best $1,500 range mahogany top grand auditorium size? Yeah, I've been looking at a used Taylor AD17e. That's it. Or an M20, but the M20 is a little smaller from Guild. I play out about once a month or twice a month in a worship setting and at a pretty large church. Currently play a Taylor 214 Deluxe Sunburst. Okay. So, you're coming from a very bright, very general guitar. And so you're coming from that into a much warmer and more specific. Like, see what I'm doing there? Like, my brain is saying, like, all right, you're way over on this side. I'm going to put you over on the other side. And, so I think that's a good move. Are you going to get rid of one and keep the other? Are you going to get rid of one to get the other? Or are you going to have both of these? Because these two would pair really, really well. John Washburn says, my 3 would be my 20-year-old Martin D18 Golden Era. Just a freaking workhorse guitar. A Washburn Tanglewood I bought in 83. It is cedar over rosewood and a Florentine Cutaway, spicy, with a Barkus Berry pickup gigging guitar and a CEO 7. That's a really good trio. I've got to look up I can't remember which Gibson copy is the Martin CEO 7. Oh, it's an LOO. Okay. So it's a Martin LOO. So, so you've got a D18 and then what's the Tanglewood? Tanglewood. Okay, let me come over here. I'm going to share my screen. I need to drink water. I've been talking too much. It's not true. I literally drank so much water right before this. Okay, so here's an 82. Oh, man, that's cool. It kind of reminds me of like their Guilds were doing that. Those oval sound holes were popular in the 80s. That's an interesting guitar. And what spec did you say yours was? You said that yours. Florentine Cutaway and a Barkus Berry pickup. Cedar over rosewood. So I bet that's a super warm guitar. Very warm, very bassy. The Barkus Berry pickup, not great, but it's like, it's right. It's the moment, it's when that guitar, it's when that pickup was around. And then because that's the sound of, that concert that somebody went to and they remember how great that was, it gets kind of tied to nostalgia. So it's kind of interesting. Like if you go back and listen to certain records, you're like, I remember this being life-changing. And now you go back and you're like, it's good. Sounds like, listen to Heart in particular. And you kind of go back and you're like, ooh, that's quacky. Or Lindsey Buckingham. Like it's quacky and it's very piezo pickup. Really squashed compression in them. But that's a really cool trio. Neil says you can't go wrong with Sitka over Mahogany Dread. They're bread and butter. Yeah, I think so too. Revelry. Hey, it's been a while, Revelry. Glad you're here. My trio for acoustics, 1960 J45, 1950 D18, and a Waterloo Jumbo King. Honorable mention in Heritage H1260. Whew. Good Lord. That's a great, okay. Slope shoulder short scale J45. long scale D18, or like Martin scale D18, mahogany rosewood, or mahogany and spruce, both of those. And then the Waterloo Jumbo King is a cherry back and sides, right? Or is it mahogany? That is an excellent. The Waterloo Jumbo King is just chef's kiss on that. That's a great guitar. So, hey up, Mush. Gary from Yorkshire here, loving the content as always. Please keep it coming. Sure, will do. Hope all is well. Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, I can text you, Daniel, and give you an update. I got to figure out the Philly Guitar Show too. I might have to jump on a plane from here to Philly. So, anyway, Marco says my 3 acoustics are a 2013 Martin D15M. Excellent, super warm, bassy sound guitar. 73 Ovation, yuck. I'm kidding. And a 1963 Gibson folk singer. But my next purchase will likely be a 0018 or an OM28 Martin. Ooh. Yeah, okay, so D15, very warm, very bassy. The Ovation, thumpy and bassy, but not like shrill for the Ovation. Then a 63 folk singer could be a little small, little boxy. So 0018 would give you a bright, punchy thing. An OM28 would give you a rich, full, lush guitar tone. That's a really good trio. Okay, the Waterloo is mahogany. Excellent. Great guitar. Cool. Well, I think that's all I have. I'm going to run through just as I'm casting. You need a blast from the past. And so the blast from the past is a guitar that kind of started with you, because sometimes your blast from the past will be a guitar that starts with you and grows old. Those are awesome. So for me, it's my Tom DeLonge. I bought that when I was 14 years old. I mowed every yard in my subdivision multiple times. I raked leaves so that I could buy this guitar, and it has been with me. I've changed every single part on it, and I love this guitar. But other guitars like this, this could be anything that's kind of nostalgic. You start out with, it could be like a Little Martin if you're really into Ed Sheeran if you're younger. It could be, I've met other people that bought guitars because of Pearl Jam. I mean, it's whatever guitar got you into guitar and then has been with you ever since. They're really fun. Now, the other one is the workhorse. We talked about this a lot. This is your dead reliable, diverse, capable. It's with you. The real test is, can you play with the lights off? Because if you're going to play out in a bar and the lights are changing, or if you're playing at a church and all the lights come down in dramatic moments, you need to be able to just play it and not think about it. Great guitars disappear. They become invisible. It's just you playing and singing, and you're not having to think about it. Old Faithful, beautiful old guitars, really fun, really cool. This is actually a D35. This one wasn't mine, but I just really like this picture, and we kind of used it. Like, I didn't want to use something that's super expensive. I want to use something that's just kind of real. The Freeloader. The Freeloader is a guitar that you never planned on buying. You probably wouldn't have bought, but you just put it together with parts, or somehow it just wound up in your possession. You don't love it, but it's around. So for me, it is my my Razzmatazz which is a giant Jazzmaster body with a Strat setup. It was painted by a dear friend, by Evan Dowie of Rude Guitars in New Orleans. And then we did a pickguard, but then the pickguard is pretty much like a, what's that brand? Oh, it's not Kiesel. It is, what's that brand? They make like Firebird looking guitars that are all sparkly. He messaged me. It's like, hey, is that one of my guitars? I was like, nope. We just made a pickguard, and it was a total like fluke accident that it looks the same. But anyway, I can't remember. Let me come over to the comments. Maybe somebody remembers. But anyway, okay. The last one we have to talk about is the Groundbreaker. The Groundbreaker is a guitar or a piece of gear that every time you play it, it forces you to do new things. You're going to play new stuff. You're going to discover new things about yourself. And so listen, this can be a bunch of things. For me, it's my Pano octave mandolin, or just mandolin in general. You spend a while being a guitar player thinking in mandolin, or if you're playing bass, you're a guitar player thinking in bass. And then somewhere along the way, like that 4th year of Spanish you took, all of a sudden you're like, oh, yo trabajar. All of a sudden your brain thinks in the language. I don't know if that probably is wrong. Bad Spanish. I am the working. Anyway, But the Groundbreaker is something that forces you to do things you don't know how to do. And it's exciting. And so part of it is that you help recapture the time in your life in which guitar was just incredibly fun. And so it's super cool and super fun. And you just get to recapture that. So for me, it's been that way with mandolin for a long time. Now, the last one that you really need to work with is the guilty pleasure. The guilty pleasure is a guitar that just you shamefully, not even shamefully, you just love it. It's a cheesy thing. You're going to play Purple Rain on it. You know it. I know it. You're going to play Yellow by Coldplay. You're just going to play the cheesiest feel-good music, and you don't care. It's just exciting and beautiful and inspiring, and it's nostalgic, and they're fun. They are, so it's going to be like a neon Ibanez RG. It's going to be a Fender 12, and you're going to play Sailing by Christopher Cross. It'd be an abalone covered Martin. It's just the thing when you need to just treat yourself. Like, I worked hard and I saved up money and I bought this guitar and I don't care. I just like it and it's mine, and you can suck it. I love this. I've been bouncing around a while on these, and mine, even since I made these titles, my guitars have been in flux. But if you want to know how to build a guitar collection, I've broken off a little bit of what I teach in my course, Write Guitars Faster, and I really would love for y'all to check this out. It's an incredible course. It's really, really fun, and it's coming up on the time of year in which you will probably have some time to yourself. I don't know if that's true or not, but I want you to buy the course. I want you to check it out. So go to guitar-hunter.teachable.com and you can get the course there. It's $147, and there is no possible way in which this will not save you $147. The next time you walk into a guitar shop, next time you buy a guitar from somebody on Craigslist, next time you have to sell a guitar on Reverb, or the next time you're trying to figure out and you painfully make the decision of buying the wrong guitar for too much money that you wanted to be in your collection, and you're disappointed and you're wondering if you should just give up. Listen, all I will say is it's not hard to get a lot of guitars, but please don't die with a closet full of Yamahas. Let's work hard and figure out how to make a guitar collection that feels like you, that you love, that every single one you feel connected to. You're like, I built that one. I got this one from an old friend. I bought this from a shop that I love. I got a great deal on this one. And all of these guitars, when you look at them together, you understand what I like, what I care about, what I want to put out into the world. So yeah, that's my pitch. Go to Write Guitars Faster. I think it's a super cool thing. It's been out for about a year and it's excellent. Now, the last thing, oh boy, forgot about this. We just ordered some shirts, and I'm the wrong proportions for this, but we ordered shirts. The Guitars Make Us Better. With the first ones are literally getting mailed out today. If you want to get in, there aren't going to be many more for a while. So go to jeremytheguitarhunter.com, pick up a shirt. There's a coupon code. I think it's just free. FREE. Oh, I burped. Sorry. Whoops. But yeah. So, Neil, any recommendations on a 12-string acoustic that won't break the bank? I've been looking at Taylor's. Look for a Taylor 355. They're usually under $1,000. They're excellent. Tons of bass. They're still all solid. Mahogany back and side, spruce tops. Really great. If you can find it from like the 90s, 2000s. And yeah. Guilty Pleasures is a Takamine EF341 from the 80s, solid cedar top. Hate all of you, but I want... Hate all you want, but I love it. Dude, that's so good. That's the perfect... Oh, this is funny. John says, I have too many freeloaders. I know. I think that's a good point. Like, you get stuck with a lot of guitars, and you're like, well, they're not worth that much. They're not that cool. I don't like them that much, but they're here. And so I think we got to figure out how to kick those to the curb. I think the right way to do is to get them like playing great and hand them off to high school kids that are learning how to play. I think that's the right way, is to just lead with generosity. Revelry says, by the way, I'm very much enjoying your Showalter build. Can you please play it on the live stream? I forgot it. It's up at the top of the hill in the other property. But I will play it. I think I've been hesitant to play it. Patrons have seen it, and I've played it for patrons. But I just want to keep it just till those videos come out. And yeah, but become a patron and you can see it right now. Sorry, that feels manipulative. Anyway, yeah, the Taylor 562 rings like a bell. Mm-hmm. Oh, I jumped into a Pat says, I purchased an Eastman A mandolin a few months ago, but I've not aggressively tried to learn how to play it. Any recommendations for good online teachers for mandolin? David Benedict is excellent. I haven't taken any of his lessons, but I've watched just some of his stuff, and he's really, really good. I don't know. I never really took lessons on mandolin. I just kind of painfully figured it out. So I basically thought guitar upside down, because it's like from treble to bass, it's E, A, D, G. So you think like instead of a G being this way, a G is that way, like flipped upside down. I got to get these fingers out of the way. So that's a G. And then a D is like your D over F sharp. And then a C is the same thing, but you just lift it up and move it up. So anyway, you're kind of thinking upside down for the last little bit, but that gets you in trouble because you're not pulling the lowest notes in your chords are fourths and fifths, or minor thirds. And so you're not actually pulling the root notes. Like it's like playing bar chords, but you're playing all your high strings are up high. So anyway, you should work on it. It's definitely super, super fun. And I think the biggest hurdle is to jump over, like, don't be a guitar player thinking in mandolin. Stick with it long enough to become at least a poor mandolin player. That's kind of where I am. Like I'm very much a rhythm mandolin player now, but that's hard earned. That's 8.5 years of playing mandolin, pretty hard, trying to get good at it. So, but with that said, hang on, I haven't tried that hard. I have played it and just figured stuff out, and then occasionally like stolen with my eyes when I see somebody playing. But anyway, this has been an exceptional live show. I've been really thankful for each and every one of you. Thanks for watching this video. Please buy a t-shirt. Please become a channel member, and go fill the world with music and friendship. Offer kindness, mercy, friendship. It's a better way, and it makes life great. And people need it. Forgiveness sets people loose. So anyway, and friendship sets people loose and lets them be who they're meant to be. So thanks, everybody. It's been really great. And I will see you guys later. All right. And now I'm going to turn my camera off. Okay, I'm back. All right. You guys are great. I'm really leaving now. Bye, everybody. See you later.